Hello and welcome to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No, my name is Mike Piwowarski. I am the co-host. That's the co-host from the East Coast, from the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, where we bring you two-way views of conservative news. And Craig, I am not in my regular studio. I am sitting outside a spring training facility.
Are you really? I figured something was a little bit different since I didn't see any bourbon behind you.
Oh, well, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
I'm sorry. Dun, dun.
Sorry. I got old dad jokes.
You got real old dad jokes. There you go. So tell us a little bit about. Tell us where. So now, where are you at?
Port St. Lucie, Florida. Down in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Nice,
Not too far from the house.
Nice.
It's the spring training home and the single A minor league team home of one of the single A team home of the New York Mets. So I had to come down here, see how the boys are doing, do a little consultation, give them some opinions, what I've been seeing, a little statistics, little predictions. So I just had a little powwow with the group of the Mets personnel down here.
Very nice, very nice. And I'm sure that leads into our first story. But before we do that, want to encourage each and every one of you that are watching, please take a moment right now. First, like the program and then share it. However you're watching it, share it. If you're watching us on YouTube, hey, share us on all of your social media. If you're watching us on OpsLens, hey, make a comment, send us a video, let us know that you're watching. If you're watching us on Spotify, once again, let folks know that you're watching. If you're listening, however you're listening, once again, make sure you share. Folks, that's how the program grows. You help us help you, and we help our sponsors who help us help you. So please make sure like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. Or as Mike likes to say,
pass us around.
Exactly. Okay, Mike. All right. You are on hit for our first topic. Make it happen, sir.
Yeah. First topic. Down here. Now, listen, Craig, you and I, we have the media badges, so we have the opportunity to sit with a lot of the media and have conversations. I've been hearing some rumbling, some rumors, some stuff going on. The Mets have got a new ownership, and I know this is baseball, folks, but this season's here, and you're going to have to listen to me talk about baseball at least once a week if you want to, keep the program going. So they got a guy. They found this guy over in Delhi. He could pitch. Boy, can he pitch. Listen, I'll give you an idea. The fastest pitchers last year were pitching at 101, 102. Average rate still for pitching is about 88, 89 miles an hour. I think the fastest ever seen in the game was 103 and a half, about that. This guy, his name's Sid Finch, 150 plus miles an hour. They're having to recalibrate the speed guns because they're not set to go that high. 150 miles an hour. Craig, he's the weirdest dude in the world. He's got he pitches with one boot on, like a hunting boot, and nothing on the other foot. He plays a French horn, and as of right now, we're still in spring training, he hasn't decided if he wants to go with the team to play ball or if he wants to go back to playing music, sitting on a mountainside somewhere. So it's a really interesting, weird story. Craig, body style. I know the first question is, how does he pitch 150 miles an hour? Nobody could do that. You remember? We know Michael Phelps, right? Michael Phelps, that long upper torso. Remember? Sean Bradley used to play in the NBA, the 7+ foot center, real long, lanky upper body. And rather than power throw, it's kind of like a rubber arm snap motion. It's just like he twists his whole body, and then the arm comes around, and it's like wham, like when you're snapping a towel, and the ball comes off with this crack. It's 150 miles an hour in the glove, and nobody can touch him. It's amazing.
Okay, this sounds eerily like a pitcher that they once had, I want to say 30, 40 years ago, who just once again was another phenom who made his debut in spring training and just wowed the world.
I did, and said to be related to this guy. Said to be related.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Said to be related. So weird. Just weird about that way. And I listen, I don't know if the kids read comic books or something like that, but all he knows about baseball is Metsies. That's all he wanted to do.
Well,
play for the
I got to
Mets.
tell you, as a
So,
Mets fan, you must be excited.
woo! Listen, don't worry. The Mets will find a way to screw this up. Yeah.
Okay, well, how exactly do you think they're going to screw it up?
You know, they won't break camp. You know, listen, we couldn't even get any pictures with them. We couldn't take phones in. We couldn't. You couldn't have cameras in there.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's gonna end up being, you know, another hoax, another baseball kind of thing where it never happens.
Well, that's interesting, but I am quite sure that there's something a little bit more behind this story than you're telling us.
I am. This is actually a story from 37 years ago that I'm telling you today.
Oh. So you're saying this guy no longer exists?
Well, he exists, but he's some kind of guru sitting up on top of a mountain providing wisdom and knowledge to everybody.
So he's some dude in like his 50s now or 60s?
He would be late 50s, early 60s at this point. Yeah.
Okay, this does us absolutely no good. Thank you so much, very sir. Oh, that's right. Now I get it. Go ahead and say it.
April Fools. Listen, I think I told you this story last year. One of the greatest April Fools jokes ever purported to happen during the modern era, the media era. Cover of Sports Illustrated 37 years ago in 85. For 10 days, the entire sporting world thought this was a real thing until somebody finally put it together. The first letter of every sentence was a Happy April Fool's Day. And then they came. Listen, the general manager and like one or two players that were in the pictures knew about it. Other than that, it was George Plimpkin was the author. And they pulled off the greatest sports April Fool's joke to ever have occurred.
Yeah, here was I never dreamed baseball could be thrown that fast. The risk has a lot to do with it. Yeah, that is hilarious. That has to be one of the best April Fool's jokes ever. Ever.
Yep.
Phenomenal. And they pulled it off, like you said, for 10 days.
Yeah.
For 10 days they pulled that joke off. So that was a phenomenal. Well,
the commissioner of baseball called the Mets and wanted to know why they didn't disclose they had him for safety purposes. Like, how could they have somebody throwing that fast and not tell the commissioner's office? I mean, that's how well kept the secret was.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go into our next story. Okay. So our next story is about, it's about another well-kept secret, and it's Disney's not so secret gay agenda. And basically what a lot of this has to do with, and we all heard everything that went down with the whole Disney and Don't Say Gay and them coming out against it. Well, at first they didn't say anything. They just kind of let the bill go. And then when it became law, they decided that they were going to going to say something. Oh, well, we probably should have said something. And, we're not going to support legislation like that to pass it. In fact, we're not going to give any money to anybody who voted for that bill. So they decided to do that. People still weren't happy enough. And so now, interestingly enough, there's information coming out that there is a big, huge attempt there within Disney to remove any gay, to remove things. For example, instead of saying, welcome boys and girls or ladies and gentlemen, they're going to say, welcome folks. So they're going to remove any gender identifying anything, as well as they're going to be, they have been sneaking what they call queerness into all of the shows and films and events and things like that, Mike. It is crazy because these are the folks who made their money on family, and now all of a sudden they're coming out against the traditional family.
You're absolutely right, Craig. Those things that you say are going to be occurring, they've already occurred. When you come into the park now, it's not ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They don't do that. They say, welcome everyone, welcome to all. They've gotten rid of any identifying gender, at all. Now the bathrooms don't say men or women's on them. They just have images on them, so they've gotten rid of all names, all recognition of that. They are, Greg, they're they're pushing, and this is what Disney has to understand right now. Disney has been pushing this based on a minority of their employees. Listen, Disney is very proud of their LGBT community they have there, but they've allowed the 10 to 20% of the employees that work there to take over the management direction and philosophy of Disney World. And Disney's about to get it broke off in their backside because of Captain Florida, Governor DeSantis. They have come forward and stepped up to the plate and said, we want to play ball with you. And he has said, you know what? Disney World enjoys autonomy as the Reedy Creek Improvement District. In 1967, the state of Florida voted to give them basically their own city government. Right. So Disney World has their own city government, and it exists because of the will of the legislature and the governor. The governor's just told them, well, if this is going to be your policy, I think we might be revoking that law.
Oh, yeah. Now, I am sure that all of you think, I know what you're thinking, haha, April Fools. But if you've been watching this show, you know that, well, that's not necessarily the case. In fact, we got some evidence from a closed-door meeting that took place right there at Disney.
Like, I love Disney's content. I grew up watching, all of the classics. They have been a huge, informative part of my life. But at the same time, I worked at small studios most of my career, and I'd heard, you hear whispers. I'd heard things like, oh, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard. On my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA, the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel I felt it was, maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last they're turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of them. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me.
Yes, no one was trying to stop her from injecting, once again, queerness into all of the shows. So in other words, they have an agenda. As she noted, it's not so secret, and they're pushing it and they're allowing it. And folks, so it's time to rethink, whether or not we should be partaking of Disney products, especially should we be allowing our children to partake of it.
Like Disney said, or excuse me, like Governor DeSantis said recently, listen, if you don't like it, feel free to go back to California. Take your headquarters and go. But you won't, will you? Because their policies are even crazier than our policies, and you'll end up going bankrupt. The great thing, Craig, is that you've got this. Remember the Don't Say Gay bill? That's what Disney calls it. The Don't Say Gay bill. They've decided to die on that hill, evidently. Now Disney used to be about protecting children's rights and future and giving them hope and dreams and let that all come true. Evidently now Disney's stance is we're going to teach sex and alternate sex to kids between the ages of 4 and 7. That's what they want to do. They're fighting this bill. Disney wants to talk to your 4-year-old about sex. Huh? Yeah. People go to jail for that.
Yes. They do. In fact, they do. So anyway, no April Fool's joke there. Disney is gone completely and utterly, woke / queer / CRT, whatever you want to call it. They're they've jumped.
I believe the official term is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. There you go.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
All right, moving along to our next story. Now, this was one that I came across that was actually very interesting because we here in California, we actually have our own what we call the Gun Violence Research Center, which basically is an entity that it is headed by an anti-gun activist, and they do nothing but research that promotes gun confiscation, that promotes anti-gun policies. Well, there was actually a piece that was actually very recently done by Reason. If you've ever seen Reason, you know that Reason's not right or left. They're actually quite they're quite libertarian, shall we say. And they actually recently did an article, put out an article that was talking about gun studies. And what they noted was that out of the 27,970 studies that have been done on gun laws, only 123 were tested where their effects were rigorous. And here's a small snippet from the video that kind of goes along with that particular story.
Statistician Aaron Brown has taught at NYU and the University of California at San Diego. He's a columnist for Bloomberg and a leading expert on risk management.
If you think most published journal articles on public policy issues have clear causal conclusions, such as that a specific gun control regulation does or does not work, you would be mistaken.
Federal gun crime prosecutions are up 16% since I took office, but we must do more.
And I think there needs to be vigorous prosecution of gun laws on the books.
Last year, we prosecuted a record number of firearms offenses.
Gun control policies based on flawed research can have tremendous costs. They turn otherwise law-abiding citizens into criminals, and they increase prosecutorial power and mass incarceration. They exacerbate the racial and socioeconomic inequities in the criminal justice system.
Brown points to a 2020 meta-analysis from the nonpartisan research organization the RAND Corporation that analyzed 27,900 studies on the effectiveness of gun control regulations. The authors concluded that 0.4%, or only 123, were rigorous enough to provide meaningful results, and even among those, many didn't answer the most pressing question for policymakers: do gun control laws reduce violence?
The 123 studies that met the RAND criteria were the best of the bunch, but they still had serious defects. In fact, given the uncertainties in the data, it's next to impossible for any study to prove that a particular gun control measure had any effect whatsoever. The only thing we can say confidently is many of the most widely trumpeted results are likely based on random chance alone.
So, I mean, now, mind you, you've heard of the RAND Corporation, right, Mike? Yeah, so we know, okay, so Mike is now frozen. So we know that the RAND Corporation is not a conservative entity, right? They are a group that is once again, largely nonpartisan. They haven't always been with us on gun control, on gun issues. But I think it looks like we got Mike back. But Mike, now, RAND Corporation is not a conservative entity, are they?
No, they're not. But they're efficient in their efforts.
Yes, but the point that I'm making is that clearly what they've done, what they're pointing out in this study is most of these studies that are done or are not rigorous. And for those of you who've never studied statistics or never studied how studies are done, the evidence or the things that you do in your study, it has to be duplicatable. In other words, a peer-reviewed study, people have to be able to take what you did in your study, do the same exact thing, and get similar results. That's what a peer-reviewed study normally does. And what they were pointing out was only 123 or 123 out of 27,900, or to be clear, 0.4% of all of the studies done were considered rigorous. And according to this statistician, even those don't really tell you much.
No, absolutely not. He said they were the best of the worst. I think is what his words were. Yeah.
Now, Mike, I'm going to interrupt this story because Patrick from out there in Georgia actually sent us a Facebook note noting that Georgia has finally gotten permitless carry or constitutional carry.
Well,
Georgia
not quite yet.
Final approval. Well, right. Okay, they get final approval, so it still has to be signed by the governor. But keep in mind, the governor said he wanted this bill.
Right, and I think right now we have a pool going on. It's just it's when he's going to sign it. Is he going to sign it today and just say, "Look, I did it"? Is he going to sign it next week on some courthouse steps with the media around? Is he going to make an issue of it? This is going to happen. It's just a matter of how quick or how he wants to do it. But it's a done deal. You're right there.
It's going to be, I'm going to guess, because Monday is a big news day, I'm going to guess he's going to try and do it Monday morning so that he can have the press all week. But anyway, that passage that makes them 25?
25, and I'm telling you, I think we may see Florida might be 25 or 26. We got Nebraska that's discussing it right now. They've got one hurdle in their house to see if they can get over her. Otherwise, I think we see 25 or 26 and 27 coming up soon.
That is phenomenal, sir. You know, I love it. I love the fact that they're doing that. I love the fact that they're participating. I love the fact that you have states, and once again, it's going to eventually be the majority of states are actually out there, and they are aggressively pushing and promoting the fundamental right to keep and bear arms, or in this particular case, to bear arms.
You know, Craig, I was looking at some stats, like you and I were looking at maps and everything yesterday, and after we got off the air, I took another look, and suggested for me to look at with maps was there's this United States maps with those that were sanctuary cities or those that were doing constitutional carry.
Right.
And if you look at the flip side, where all of those blue states are, right, it was states that are passing marijuana laws. So it's like the country's divided right now between states that have passed constitutional carry and states that have passed marijuana laws. So imagine if there were the next civil war, how long that would take. All right?
People who can carry guns and people who don't really care.
You would have you would have like Georgia showing up to take over Colorado, and that would Colorado would be taken over before Georgia realized what happened, or before they realized what happened. And they'd be like, "What happened, man? We got the munchies. Why is Georgia in charge now?" You know.
There you go. Well, that is phenomenal. Well, that's actually excellent to hear. So congratulations to all of you out there in Georgia. Very, very happy for you. I hope the governor gets it and signs it soon, because I have a feeling that he's not going to be governor very long.
He's got a lot of ground to make up. We'll see. We shall see. Yep.
All right, moving right along. Moving to our favorite city, Chi-Town. Y'all know Chi-Town. Chi-Town is the place, or as we affectionately refer to it as, Chirac. Clearly, people there are angry and they are frustrated, which is why they are attacking and trying to kill each other, because gas is so damn expensive there in Chi-Town. So, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, yeah, that's right, I said her name. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is proposing handing out gas cards. That's right, handing out gas cards to the people. Now, these gas cards is going to be random gas cards. It's going to be up to $150. $150 per gas card that will be handed out to folks. Now, that might, depending on what kind of ride you got, it might get you a tank of gas. It might get you a couple of tanks of gas, once again, depending on the car that you're getting. So the answer, instead of reducing gas taxes or decreasing regulation to be able to pull gas out of the ground, the answer is let's give away some gas cards. April Fools or no?
Oh look, more reasons to murder. that's what we need.
We know they carry around $150 gas. You pull somebody up there and like, I have no money. I know you have a $150 gas card.
That's it.
Give me your $150.
Exactly right. And he could get that gas and he could double that money easy. He double it. Oh boy. Listen, just follow us to the free money place, and when we leave, you can jump us then and shoot us. Okay?
Right.
Unbelievable. We're going to get our gas cards. We're going to be online over here. So pick us up when we're done. We'll see you around the corner. All right? We'll see you around the corner.
Well, but here's, Mike, here's the thing. And for example, in California, they're talking about actually doing a rebate, right? For people who own, basically, if you own a vehicle, you'll get $400 per vehicle. Now, this is what's so stupid about this idea. Is number one, they don't care how much you actually drive. So in other words, how much you drive or how much you actually wind up paying doesn't really matter. So if you have 2 cars or 3 cars or 5 cars and you never drive your cars, doesn't matter. You're getting $400 per car. Now, if you maybe have 1 car and you drive it a whole bunch, and like, for example, maybe you have to commute an hour a day, or you drive for a living, maybe you drive Uber, whatever it is, you're going to spend so much money, and this is barely going to cover a day's worth or 2 days worth of your gas. It is incredibly inane and stupid. But here's the thing, Mike, and this is where liberals make the mistake is, in their eyes, rather than let you keep your money, right? They would rather take your money and then give it back to you so that you can say thank you and be grateful and vote for them.
Well, remember, and if they're going to give you $400, it means they're taking about 6 or 7 because, listen, it's not free to take your money. We got to process that. We've got to do the work. We got to print the cards out. We got to mail them out. We got to give some to people that don't have cars because, you know, they got Polaroids to be doing stuff. So I got to give them money too.
Exactly.
It's just absolutely. Craig, I mean, I picture all the cars in California are all like lowriders with carpet on the dash anyway. Don't they get good mileage, all these little cars?
Yeah, well, some of them are supposed to. Now, by the way, in Washington now, and I think now they're requiring, first of all, in Washington State, all cars are going to have to be electric. I think by sometime like 2030, which I don't see.
2030 is what they said. Yeah, it's the closest
going to happen.
Closest date that anybody's put forth. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
there's like 3 charging stations in Washington State.
Right. There's additional legislation where they want to make it so that vehicles will have to have a gas mileage federally. All new vehicles will have to have a gas mileage of 40 miles per gallon. Currently, that law says 24 miles per gallon. Now, even with the 24 miles per gallon, you know what they're finding is that most auto manufacturers are fudging the numbers and they're lying.
Because and listen, just so folks, you're aware of this. I know you heard Craig. I'm sorry to step over him. If you go to a dealership and it says 24 miles to the gallon, it might get 24 miles to the gallon at 40 miles an hour on a flat road in perfect conditions. Oh, and by the way, with 100% gasoline, not 85 or 90% gasoline and 10 or 15% ethanol, because the ethanol reduces your mileage. It also creates harder wear and tear on your engine and your rubber products and your plastic products in there, your belts, your hoses, all of that, you know. So if it says 24 at the dealership, it's probably closer to 18.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. So both of my vehicles are hybrids. One is a Toyota Prius, which they say gets 52 miles to the gallon. I've probably maxed out 45 to 48.
Well, sure, because you're using gas that's 90% gas and 10% ethanol.
Right. And then, then I also have a Yukon, which gets the reason I got that was because it gets me 21 miles to the gallon in the city, which normally a Yukon, something that size, only gets you about 14. But it's about the same on the highway. It's about the same as a regular Yukon, probably about 23 to 25.
Right. Yeah, well, I've got a big truck also, and I get about 14, 15 to the gallon. But, you know, I enjoy a carbon footprint that you could see from outer space. So.
That was about what my Durango got. And it was, I always, the only thing I didn't like about it was I wish it was a better vehicle. I don't mind paying more for
Well, it's
gas,
a Dodge. So, you know, you can wish all you want. It's not going to happen. It's a Dodge.
Well, which is why it's no longer my Dodge.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Lane, let's move on to our parting shot today. All right, so here's the first one. We actually have several parting shots today. You guys know what is going on, what's going on in the Ukraine, and the president during a flyover noted the amount of damage that was done. The president noted, look at the damage caused by Russia. Well, one of the media there in the plane decided to let him know, sir, that's Baltimore.
Yep. As the former president described it, it's a crap hole.
Right. Well, and, you know, the thing is this, is that, you know, haha, you know, April Fools. But the problem is, and this is from our folks over at San Diego County Gun Owners, here they like to note that April Fool's Day meme, but California gun laws are already a joke. Yes, they're already a joke, so therefore, April Fool's Day has been suspended in the state of California. But guess what, Mike? It is actually part of a national movement. That's right. April Fool's Day is canceled this year because no prank is worse than the unbelievable joke that is running our country right now. And if I had told you that we were going to have a senile and pretty close to senile both incompetent and incontinent president who in less than 1 year has destroyed the economy, our reputation across the globe. What would you say if I told you that was the case? If I told you a year ago, well, I guess you already knew Biden was running then, so you probably would have guessed, oh, Biden must have won.
Yes, that's what I would have guessed. Oh, Biden won. There you go. Yeah. Oh, he's still in office? I guess whoever they picked for vice president was a colossal failure too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Now, Craig, I did send you one more parting shot.
Okay, let me go see if I can find that one. Oh, yep, here it is. All right, hold on.
And I'll tell you why. I didn't tell Craig why. I sent him this one. I just felt he needed to know this one.
Bam.
The party doesn't start until I walk in. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Christopher Walken. It was a horrible impersonation of him. But listen, when you go out with Craig and I and you go to one of these events and you join up with us in the crowd, listen, party doesn't start until we walk in. And it's Christopher Walken's birthday today. Happy 79th birthday, Chris. And may you have at least 7 or 8 more.
Yeah, the party doesn't start until I walk in, you know?
Until we walk in. Hey, how's everybody doing?
How's everybody doing? I'm sorry, Christopher Walken is... he became one of those guys who I would watch something just because he's in it. That's how good he is. Because he is just... Anyway, phenomenal dude. Very much appreciate him. Happy birthday, sir. And with that, hey, how about a quick shout out to our sponsors before we head out?
Yeah, no April Fool's Day. To check out these guys at Gorilla Machining. Talked to them earlier today. Great stuff coming for 4G. He's looking at some new line of products to add to it right now. Grid Defense always got top-notch stuff. And of course, the people at California Republican Assembly trying to bring common sense back to what's your state motto? What are you now?
Oh, the Golden State.
The Golden State. That's funny. What's the new state? Well, there's got to be a new one, like the Good Newsom State or something like that.
There you go. We're fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. Please remember, like, share, subscribe. Encourage your friends to do the same. Tell them about the rundown. This is the place to be. You can listen to us. You can watch us. Most importantly, you need to have some conversation with us. Hit us up on OpsLens. You can send us videos. If we get good videos, we'll post them or we'll share them with you during the show. You can also comment with us. But please make sure, tune in and encourage your friends to do the same. With that, we hope you all have a good weekend. And we will be back on Monday. Fun day.
Yep. Have a great April Fool's Day. We'll see you all next week.